Do you want to play a thrilling, tense, desperate survival game, but don't have 50 hours to spend playing Seventh Continent? Then Discover Lands Unknown from Fantasy Flight Games might be for you. And in an interesting twist on standard game production, each copy of the game is unique. Does that actually help to make the game better? Or is it just a marketing gimmick by Fantasy Flight? Let's find out and discuss 5 things about Discover Lands Unknown. In Discover, players control a randomly selected survivor with a special ability, playing one of 4 scenarios that, when combined, form an overall narrative. During the day phase, survivors perform a variety of actions. Gathering resources like wood and food, inventing and building items like stone maces, confronting deadly adversaries, investigating mysterious landmarks around the map, and scouting out the surrounding environment. Each of these actions uses 1 or more stamina, slowly wearing down a survivor's resources. In the night phase, a night card is resolved, inflicting a series of generally negative effects. Most commonly, these effects will require drinking water or eating food, otherwise the survivor will suffer some damage. If a survivor can complete the objectives of their scenario before they take a 4th point of damage, they win the game. Starting on a negative point, I don't find the scenarios very engaging. The objectives within a given terrain type tend to be very repetitive. Additionally, while the idea of an overarching narrative is intriguing, because the game assumes you'll play a different survivor on each playthrough, you lose some of the connection between characters, and it feels like each scenario kind of ends on a bit of a down note. Following up a con with a pro, I really enjoy the streamlined, simple, yet engaging stamina system. The idea of using stamina in the day and then recovering some but not quite all of it at night is already a simple, quick idea to explain. Additionally, except for moving on to difficult terrain, almost every action you take in the game requires only 1 stamina, making things very streamlined and straightforward with little bookkeeping. But the maps are large, and the way you spend your turn is generally freeform and open, with no obvious choices that are ideal compared to others. This gives me a great feeling of control over my survivor, without the complications of games like Seventh Continent and Robinson Crusoe. On another positive note, I really enjoy the survival aspect of the game. The constant battle to have enough food and enough water to barely hang on is a lot of fun, and when you find just the right spot of the map and have just the right items to survive and gain an abundance of either food or water, you really feel clever in what you've done. With the addition of the simple yet fun damage system, the game strikes the perfect balance of being difficult but not feeling so impossibly desperate that you don't enjoy yourself. With a 3rd pro in the row, I also enjoy the exploration aspect of the game. The map tiles are randomized, so you never quite know how the map's going to be laid out and where certain landmarks will appear. Even the resource tokens you gain have randomized benefits. Add on the fun of exploring landmarks and finding special events at them, and you have a great incentive to just look through the game even if you're not going to win the scenario. But unfortunately, the good times can't last forever, and the point that sticks with me the most is the poor variety, poor value, and the annoyingness of the unique aspect of the game. You only get 2 terrain types with the exact same landmark, so fairly quickly you're going to be seeing all the same events over and over again. You only get 4 co-op scenarios, and as I said, a lot of them are pretty redundant. Perhaps most frustrating of all, while you do get a fair number of cards in the game, many of them are duplicates for no reason, showing that the algorithm that created these unique and randomized sets of the game wasn't quite perfect and actually wasted some of the content you should have gotten. So here's the thing about Discover. I really like the core gameplay mechanics. I'm a fan of Seventh Continent, a fan of Robinson Crusoe, and I love the survival theme in general. But this game is so much more straightforward, so much easier to get into, so much easier to teach, without losing much of the immersion or that tense feel of surviving and exploring. The big problem, the nail in this game's coffin, is its price and the amount of content you get. It just isn't enough to justify anything close to a $60 price tag. Also, I'm personally extremely put off by the unique game that you're getting. Rather than having some algorithm randomly determine which elements I get, I'd rather have a game designer pick the perfect game experience and pass that on to me. All that being said, I still really like the mechanics, so if you can find this at a discount, I'd say maybe $30. I think it's worth $30. I would definitely recommend picking it up. Good gaming, everyone!